Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to talk to you about an entire series of laser alignment guides that we have available as a Ken Sewing Center exclusive. So many times we have customers asking us, how do I know where my needle is in my embroidery design? How can I center designs? How can I keep a straight seam allowance? Well folks, we've got a line of lasers that you can attach to your machine anywhere you want to. Just add some Velcro or clips that you can get at any department store and you're ready to go. This light plugs directly into your electrical socket, and so you can attach this anywhere that you want to. On the light itself, I can bend my neck anywhere that I want to, and we have three different choices available for you on pointers. I have the pointer dot here. If you're using this for an embroidery machine, whether it be a household or commercial machine, this is great. I can get it lined up where I need to with my needle, get it put right on my needle, and then I can do a trial off and I can look at the light and see exactly where the external part of my design is going to be. The machine will pull up in the center anyway, so if you want to keep it on center so you know exactly where you're at, lining up your designs, that's a great tool to have. We also have it available in a crosshair, so if you want, for you embroiderers, we can set that right on our needle. Then I'm able to know exactly where I'm at and do a grid system, left to right, do a quadrant on my embroidery field. We also have it available for you sewers, garment sewers, hemming, quilting, you name it. I've got it in a solid straight line, so now I can measure off from my needle and have a certain seam allowance and bend this neck anywhere that I want to, line it up with my needle. I can do just a little slight mark on my fabric from my needle measuring over, bend it, and you'll get your perfect seam allowance every time. You just follow the light. It's really clear and visible in red, so it's no problem for you to do that. If you're using this for an embroidery machine, this is going to be a great tool to find your exact starting point. You can create lines without marking up your fabric if you don't want to. This really helps in embroidery for centering your designs, getting everything lined up straight and neat. If you're having to do multiple embroideries, multiple hoopings, this comes into play really handy. Either use the pointer or order the crosshair, so that will make it a lot easier for you. We also can adjust the thickness of this. So all I have to do is just twist the head of this, and I'm able to make the dot more thicker or rounder, or I can make it thinner. This is really good. Depending on the light in your room and what you're doing, sometimes we have too much light and won't be able to see the laser, so you may want to make that a little bit thicker and get it set for your eyesight. When we get ready to attach it to our machine, you can use simple Velcro to do that. It does have a magnet on it, so if your machine has a lot of metal on it, or if you know you're going to permanently attach it, a lot of our customers actually do get a metal piece that the magnet will attach to and permanently adhere that to the machine, so you don't have to use the Velcro. But Velcro will work fine. There's clips you can get at any department store to tame the cords on it, but I don't have any clips. I just have the cord right behind my machine, tucked neat and out of the way. So it really makes it real easy for us to attach it to any sewing machine, any part of the machine, without it damaging my machine or worrying about that. Once I find the center point and get that set right on my needle, I can use that and look at the laser and not have to worry about seeing the needle to know if I'm in the center or not. Then I can do a trial off, and the trial off allows me to see the external parameter of my design, so I can see exactly where that design is going to be embroidered and how much area it's going to take up. If you have a pocket that's in the way of an embroidery that you're doing, you definitely want to make sure that you're not going to be sewing into that. If there's a button or a seam or something that you want to stay away from, I'm able to do that. So now I'm going to do the external parameter of my design. I'm looking at the laser and seeing exactly where my design is going to be at. So if I had something in the way, I wouldn't have to worry about it. This application, if I was hooping something, all our hoops are going to have marks in the center on the left and right, top and bottom, so I can line those up. Now I have quadrants that I can work with, so you can get just a small dot from a marking pen, evaporating pen, and mark your fabric. If you have a design, say I was hooping up a shirt and I had a pocket in the way, or I want to make sure I stay clear of something, we can go ahead and do some marking to begin with on our design with the crosshair, using that laser as a grid system. Then I can lightly draw out my design, and when I go into edit mode of my embroidery machine, I can move that design in the quadrant I need to and get my proper placement. We can go back and forth. If you had the dot laser, then we could use that as our center point. So a lot of times in the embroidery, you may want to pick up the laser dot and the laser crosshair, it really will make life a lot easier about you centering and getting proper placement on your designs. It's a very inexpensive way to make sure you get your embroidery correct the first time. I don't know about you, I don't like ripping out stitches. It takes a long time to do that, and you may ruin a garment. I know you sewers and quilters will really love the laser light. The straight line here allows me to get a certain seam allowance over from my needle. Many of the machines now on the needle plates have a lot of markings that will give us seam allowances. All I have to do is line that laser up perfectly. It's really easy for me to bend the laser and get it where I want to. Some machine companies even put a place you can screw down a metal seam gauge, but those can be kind of gawky and can be in the way, so there's no need to worry about that anymore. With the straight line laser, I can get this lined up exactly where I need to. If I don't have a needle plate that has markings on it, you simply can measure over to get the seam allowance you want. Make just a little mark on your plate and then line that up so it'll be straight every time perfectly. Ken Sewing Center will carry all these lasers. We carry all 3 models. We do have them in stock. We'll be glad to help you find the right laser for you. Getting the proper alignment means so much in sewing. You don't want to take time ripping out stitches, starting over again. You want to be able to get a perfect seam allowance. I know you quilters love a 1/4 inch seam allowance or a 5/8 seam allowance. Garment sewers, it comes in so handy when you're working with larger pieces of material, because my laser is going to go from the bed of my machine all the way to the back. So no matter what brand machine, what model machine that you have, you can get this set, and the laser beam is going to be emitted all the way across the bed of the machine, so it makes it so easy, so visible for me to see what I'm doing, keeping my fabric right up against the edge of that laser going through. We want to give you just a word of warning here on the laser. It's a very bright and powerful beam of light. Do not look directly into it. Always point it away from you when you turn it on, as you'll see once you get out of the packaging how bright that this light can be.